From The National, this is Trending Middle East. I'm Yasmin Al-Taji. It's Tuesday, April 15th. Here are today's headlines. Lebanese sources have told The National the government is under pressure from the U.S. and other foreign officials to replace Hezbollah-linked security staff. Two security sources said foreign officials involved in Lebanese affairs have been requesting the appointment of certain people to security posts while pushing for the removal of those they perceive as close to Hezbollah.
So this all comes amid American pressure for Lebanon to significantly reduce the influence of Hezbollah on the country. The US has repeatedly said that Hezbollah must be disarmed.
Here's The National's Jamie Prentis with more from Beirut.
One of those security officials said that people in Lebanon were told that a failure to comply would result in isolation, no meetings with foreign officials, and a halt to aid funding, which is desperately needed for post-war reconstruction. And there was also a threat of sanctions. Lebanon has no choice but to comply, said one of the security sources. The US Embassy was contacted and they said, at this point, we have no information to share on this issue.
The issue is considered so significant that it's led to delays in appointments across several branches of the security services.
In the past 30 years, the head of general security has traditionally had good relations with Hezbollah, the Iran-backed Shia armed group and political party, which has held significant influence over Lebanese affairs in the last few decades, but their strength has been severely weakened by Israel's recent war on Lebanon.
Lebanon has paid a heavy price for Hezbollah's war with Israel. The militant group had long dominated Lebanon's decisions on war and peace. Now, it's no longer regarded as a deterrent to Israel.
And this all comes as Israel continues to attack perceived Hezbollah targets in South Lebanon. And for the first time, the group has said that it is ready to start discussing its weapons cache if Israel withdraws from the locations that it still holds in South Lebanon. Now, previously, the discussion of Hezbollah's weapons arsenal was a big taboo in Lebanon.
The European Union is upping its financial aid to Palestine. On Monday, the EU announced a long-anticipated financial support package of €1.6 billion, or $1.8 billion, for the Palestinian Authority. The decision came during a meeting in Luxembourg between the bloc's 27 foreign ministers and Palestinian Prime Minister Mohammed Mustafa. The EU expects reforms in the Palestinian Authority to be implemented in exchange for the aid package, which would last through 2027.
The EU as a bloc has for a long time supported a two-state solution to the Israel-Palestine conflict, but its overall response to the latest war in Gaza has been perceived as weak, and that's because the EU is composed of 27 member states, and they all have different positions.
The National's Sunniva Rose reports.
So while we saw 3 EU countries last year recognize Palestinian statehood, and I'm referring to Ireland, Spain and Slovenia, it wasn't a broad movement that was replicated across the bloc. In total, so far, a little more than 10 countries have recognized Palestinian statehood, but you have to include a number of states from the former Soviet bloc like Hungary and the Czech Republic that did so in the late 80s, and they're now considered much more pro-Israel than pro-Palestine.
The package includes €620 million in grants and direct assistance to the PA's budget and $82 million for UNRWA.
Despite divisions among member states, the EU remains the biggest financial donor to the Palestinian Authority. Israel doesn't appear to be really listening to the EU when it demands that Israel release those funds because the PA is really struggling to pay civil servants and deliver basic services. It's really important that the Palestinian Authority not collapse because the EU thinks it's the only entity that can rule the West Bank or Gaza, even though important reforms on governance and education in particular are needed.
The expected aid comes amid a deepening fiscal crisis for the PA, triggered by Israel's decision to withhold a significant portion of tax revenue it collects on the authority's behalf after the Hamas-led attacks on October 7th, 2023. It's left the PA struggling to pay civil servants and maintain basic services in the occupied West Bank. That's where Israel's far-right finance minister Bezalel Smotrich has pushed openly for annexation. A second round of nuclear talks between the United States and Iran will be held in Rome. Italy said on Monday it was asked to stage the next phase of talks. It'll come after last weekend's meeting in Oman's capital, Muscat, headed by U.S. envoy Steve Witkoff and Iran's foreign minister, Abbas Araghchi. They agreed to meet again a week later in a sign of easing tension after months of escalating rhetoric. That included U.S. President Donald Trump threatening to bomb Iran if it did not agree to a deal. Trump pulled out of the 2015 nuclear deal between Iran and world powers, including Russia, Britain, and France, in 2018, during his first term as U.S. president. Last weekend's negotiations came weeks after Trump sent a letter to Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, urging nuclear talks while warning of possible military action if Iran refuses. Trump said on Sunday that he expected to make a decision on Iran, quote, very quickly.
Give us the readout on the Iran talks, sir.
I think they're going okay.
Iran's foreign ministry said on Sunday the talks scheduled for the coming weekend would remain indirect with Armani mediation and be focused solely on the nuclear issue and the end of sanctions. That's all for this morning's headlines. You can get these stories and follow live updates at our site. Yasmin Al-Taji, The National.